And corporations are being made to choose here. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell is criticizing the corporate CEOs who have come out against the Georgia voting law.
I found it completely discouraging to find a bunch of corporate CEOs getting in the middle of politics. My advice to the corporate CEOs of America is to stay out of politics. Don't pick sides in these big fights.
Senator McConnell telling big business to stay out of politics, but the AP notes McConnell is, quote, among the most outspoken champions of the role of big money in elections, promoting the free flow of undisclosed dollars to campaigns as a form of constitutionally protected free speech. That is true, Jonathan Lemire, as your Associated Press points out. But Republicans like Marco Rubio and Mitch McConnell and across the country, Governor Kemp even, believe that they are onto something here, that they have hypocrisy in their hands with the corporations, with Democrats who, in fact, are lying about parts of this law in order to win the political day.
And it continues the trend from Republicans we have seen in the early days of the Biden administration, where they're seizing upon sort of the cultural war issues, these wedge issues, news of the day issues, rather than the Biden administration itself or its response to the pandemic or the legislation it's rolling out. And certainly Major League Baseball felt like their hand was forced. Players in the union had suggested they might not go to the All-Star game. Some of the biggest names in the sport said they would perhaps not attend if the All-Star game remained in Atlanta, which of course would have been a debacle for the game. And they move it to Colorado, a state that certainly does not have a hot button voter change to its voter laws. It does certainly. It's less diverse than Georgia. It does require some form of voter ID, but it's a mail-in balloting state. It's one that has same-day registration. It's one that's largely praised by election advocates as a place where it is much easier to vote. It ranks much higher than Georgia does, which ranks near the bottom of the list. And we are seeing this increased pressure on other corporations. You're right, certainly. McConnell's not one to talk about the influence of corporate money in politics, as my colleagues so rightly lined out. But this is what Republicans are seizing upon now, including, indeed, former President Trump, who called for a boycott of any number of corporations. And it should be noted, one of them being Diet Coke. And we know President Trump has a rather fondness for Diet Coke, shall we say. He had a button on his desk at the White House where he could push at any point, and someone would bring him a Diet Coke. And yesterday, his former aide, Stephen Miller, tweeted a photograph of Miller and Trump at Trump's office at Mar-a-Lago. And plain as day, right there on his desk, a Diet Coke, just 2 days after he called for a boycott of the brand.
Well, I, of course, have a similar button on my desk. I press the button, and Dreamland ribs, shipped in from Tuscaloosa, Alabama, are brought out on my desk. Doesn't matter what time of the day it is. It's never too early for a half rack of ribs from Dreamland, Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Hey, thanks so much for watching our YouTube channel. You can follow up on today's top stories and breaking news, or catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.